Okay, so we're going to quickly go over all the words. This should be a really quick video. Authorize. To prove or permit, to give power or authority to. Anything you eyes, you give the first part of that word to. So deputize is back in the Old West, where you would give, they would allow regular citizens to be like a deputy. Hypnotize, you make someone fall asleep. You're feeling very sleepy. Hypnotize. Trivialize. Trivia means not important. So if you're like, someone says like, oh my goodness, that's, actually when they say, oh my God, the reason why that's considered a sin is they trivialize God. You make God seem less important. If you say, oh, we have a test, oh my God, it's like, really? Is that so? God doesn't care. I guess he cares about things, but it's a little thing, okay? You don't need to go all the way to God because you have a test in a week. It's, you're trivializing. That's why you're not supposed to use the Lord's name in vain, because vanity, it's not a really important thing. But authorize, so giving authority to. Culprit, culpable. Culp means, it comes culpable from the Latin for guilty, and it's the person who did it. Catch the culprit. Okay, and in our thing, we said, where is the culprit? I think the alleged. Alleged is a good word with culprit in America, because whenever you hear about someone who did something, often or who allegedly did something, in the news, they'll often say the alleged culprit. The alleged means they're accused. We haven't proven them yet, because in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. Once you're proven guilty, you're definitely the culprit. But we use the culprit for both. But usually if they haven't been proven, we say the alleged culprit. But they caught the culprit. Guilty. To waste time. Dawdle. To waste time. To be idle. We went over that with that bird. Do I have the jackdaw right here? Yeah. Look at this silly bird. He's just look how he's walking like a goofy. And why is this information? Stupid thing. Yeah. Look at this silly bird. There's him dawdling. It's not like an eagle getting it right over. He's kind of wasting his time. Okay. Dissect. To cut apart preparation and analysis with great care. So to cut apart for scientific study, that's kind of the literal word. Now it's taken on a figurative meaning to analyze very carefully. So if it's like I'm dissecting, Miss Songas might come in and dissect my lesson plan. She's like, what do you want to do in 5 minutes? And what do you want? So she's not cutting it up, but with her mind, Or if I dissect your essay, I'm saying like, ooh, when is this? What is this part? It's to examine really carefully. Similar to scour, but dissect is like you're examining it, you're cutting it up like doctors would do, and they cut up a body to cut up for scientific. So this person in the study dissected tinted tinted lenses or tinted windows, sort of, to make sunglasses. Expend, to pay out, to spend, to use up. Usually it's associated with energy. But it's like to spend. To spend energy is the best way. Utilize, consume, but you could expend anything. Resources, energy, and also like resources. Utilize, consume, disperse. Okay. Out, it's spending out. It's going out. Fatality. Resulting in death, an accidental death. Okay, but I wouldn't actually put that. So let's look it up you see, it's good to question the dictionary, because this is just not question the dictionary, but to look at different sources. Fatality, late, causing death, from French fatalere, fatalam, nominative cases, fatal, necessity, fatality, Latin fatalis, ordained by fate, destructive, deadly. Okay, so it comes from the word for fate or destiny. Obviously, death is inevitable with humans. It's unfortunate, but that is a reality of life that I'm sure you all know by now. That's where the word fatal comes from. It comes from that word for, it means death, but it comes from the word for fate. Okay? And gullible, easily tricked. We've gone over this a bunch. Not necessarily, like, usually if someone is gullible and stupid or connected, but not necessarily. Some people are very trusting, they're very gullible, and they're very intelligent. They could be, mathematical geniuses, but they'll fall for some silly trick, you know. And usually people who are very trusting, it's sort of sweet when people are gullible in a way, because the opposite is being, let's say, suspicious, skeptical. I would also add cynical. If you don't trust anything anyone says, then it's not good either. It's good to be in between, gullible and cynical. Illicit, now unpermitted, unlawful, improper. It pretty much means illegal. Look at licit. Think of it like license. It's like not licensed, not allowed. It's a fancy way to say illegal, unauthorized. You don't have the license to do it. You're not allowed to do it. But it's pretty much the same as illegal. It's maybe a little fancier way to say illegal. Immerse, to plunge or dip into a fluid. Okay, immerse, you're totally in it. So if I have my coffee, I drop, a pebble, and when it falls to the bottom, it's completely immersed. I'm not going to drop a pebble into my coffee because gross. Inflammatory. Think of flame, right? If you think of someone getting angry and there's fires coming out of their head, that's it. It's something that causes anger, and it leads you, just like really makes you angry. Like it would really make someone very angry. Like if the first day of class, I was like, "Hey, class, grease stinks." They'd be like, "Hey, who's this guy? He stinks." And people get angry. Inflammatory. Some of the students get inflammatory remarks, or they can get inflammatory over, soccer teams or something. Some people who are the super fans, you say, "Hey, your team, it stinks." They're like, "Oh, no." And it's inflammatory. But usually inflammatory speech is inappropriate for class, so I can't give too many. Provocative, provoking. Incendiary, and sometimes the synonyms are more difficult than the actual words. That's why I go over this. Incendiary just means the same thing. It can makes fire. It's another word for like a cinder making a fire. So incendiary also can be used to be like a remark that makes someone angry, but it could be used something that starts a fire, like an incendiary device, is like a way to say like a bomb, like a fire, a bomb that makes a fire, or any device that makes a fire. So incendiary, inflammatory, both mean pretty much exactly the same thing. It means creating a fire, but in this case it's figuratively meaning making a metaphorical fire in a person by making them angry. Memorandum. Okay, I don't think that was in the story. It just a memento is a good way to think of it. Does that have synonym? Reminder. A reminder, a memento, a post-it note. Think of it as a post-it note, a memorandum, a note to one's memory, an informal note or report. Just think of it like a post-it note. Maybe you write on your thing. Some people, they tie a string around their finger to remind themselves. Pathetic. Now, what did we learn? What word did we learn that was similar to pathetic? Pathos. Yes, pathos. Now, pathetic is passion, but generally like pity. Like you feel bad for someone. Like if I were to say I watched the movie, what's the movie that's one of these Marvel movies, Endgame. Okay, where there's the big clash of wars, and I see all the superheroes jumping. That might make me feel like, oh wow, I'm excited. I feel emotions, but it wouldn't be pathetic. So I would say, Tony Stark isn't. I don't really feel pathetic. I don't feel sorry for him, but maybe in some scenes where he's like, when he's like lost or he's alone, that would be, I feel sorry for him. But it's usually also connected to someone who's kind of pitiful or kind of, what it says here, inadequate or lacking. Someone who's not like, so like Rocky Balboa, when he's sad, you still might not say pathetic. It's kind of a negative in that way, because it's like, people wouldn't like to be called pathetic. It has a bad connotation, like, I'm not pathetic, I can make it through. It's like you're sad, and it's like they're also not able to help themselves, or you feel like bad about them, and you feel kind of sorry for them. They're kind of not. It's not good to be pathetic. It's like, I don't want to say loser, but you're kind of like a homeless person, like, oh, that's pathetic. or if but it's not a nice thing to say. Like if, let's say, I tried to throw a baseball and it was like, and it didn't go anywhere. One of my friends would be like, "Wow, that's pathetic." It can, but yeah. So it says, but it's not always necessarily negative or the person's fault. Like it was a pathetic sight to see so many starving people desperately begging for food. So it can be someone can be in a pathetic situation out of their own control, but often it has the connotation or implies that they're not doing so well or they don't have a good ability. It's not a good word to be described as. Persevere, that's a good word. To keep going, keep doing in spite of difficulties. Refuse to quit even when it's tough. Okay, I'm going to look up the etymology of this one because that's a great word. Our religion teaches us to persevere when times are tough. To persist in what has one undertaken, to persist in what one has undertaken, to pursue steadily in design or course. Persevere in Old French, perseverer, perseverare, continue steadfastly, persist. Think of persist. From very plus severe, very very strict, earnest. From per, okay, serious, grave. From perseverance, very strict, earnest. From per, very, okay, and severest, grave, which is probably from say, to have, to hold. So severe, okay, we know means serious, right? There's severe consequences. Severe storm, severe, and per. Let's just look up per real quick. Per preposition, okay, through. Okay, so it doesn't say. That makes more sense. Per, through. So it says very, but it probably, so through the tough times. So think of that. Per, through, I'm going through the hard times. You're persevering. Boom. Very good. Quash, to crush completely. Quash. Just think squash. It's almost like onomatopoeia. And we all remember onomatopoeia, onomatoipe. It's a word that sounds like what it is. Quash. This bear got quashed. Womp. He's a teddy bear, so sorry to be so violent. So it's like, quashed. It's completely crushed and not able to do anything. Quash. And it's used figuratively, like to quash the revolt before anyone was injured. To quash an idea. It's like, hey, we should have, what is it? It's like candy every day for school lunch. A dentist might come in and quash that idea because we don't have cavities. Relish. Enjoyment or satisfaction. Pleasing flavor. So relish is sort of, he opened the box with relish, knowing that it contained a piece of jewelry. Now that I've learned about Japan, I relish the chance to travel there. So it's like you're really enjoying something. You're like, if you ever had a pet cat and they like get the catnip and they're rolling around in it, or a dog when it snows. I had a big fluffy dog, and when it snowed, he would roll around in the snow. He would relish in the snow. It's like to really, really show taste, flavor, release, scent, relax. Okay, so it comes also from the taste or flavor. Like if you imagine, I like to go to the fruit market. I used to work at a butcher shop, and I'd go to the fruit market, and I would relish in the smell of fruits because I was smelling meat all day. Which, when it's dead meat, the smell gets annoying after a while. But I was like, oh, it's like in the flowers. Imagine being in a field of flowers. It's like, relishing. Reminisce. Remember fondly. Recall one's past feelings or experiences. At the family reunion, my yaya reminisced about her life in Skalthos. I changed the words because I don't know any I know Cubans, but my family's not Cuban. Remember, recollect. So it's remember, but it usually has a positive connotation. Scour, we went over scour. I have the pad still here. To clean, polish, hard rubbing with care, or to look very carefully. To move about quickly in search of. Also, if you're looking about quickly, like you see someone like running, oh, where's that? Where is it? You're scouring. Okay, testimonial. It's to make a statement. Okay, we already went over this before, but it's to make a statement, and it's a powerful way to make a statement. If you're making a testimonial, you're really making a statement. And writhe. Ooh, that's almost like the opposite of relish. It's like you're moving in pain. Like if someone you see are trapped in a trap, You're writhing. It's sad to see an injured bird writhe in pain. Okay, and that's it. Done.